I'm Jesse Thorn. Welcome to Put This On. Why do you wear what you wear to work? Is it because of a dress code? Because your boss sent out a memo and said you have to dress this way? Or is it because when you get dressed, you realize you're sending a message to the world about who you are and where you stand? Paul Feig is a director. He's directed a number of feature films and a bunch of television shows like Mad Men and 30 Rock and Arrested Development. Every day when he gets dressed in Hollywood, where people wear cardigans to black tie formal events, he puts on a suit and tie. Why does he wear what he wears to work? We visited him on the set of his new movie Bridesmaids to find out. Why are we here in Pacoima, California? To talk to Paul Feig, the director of the new movie Bridesmaids. He's well known for always wearing a suit to work. Why? Let's find out. When did you start wearing a suit to work?
I started about 10 years ago. When I was a kid, I always liked to wear suits. I was really into fashion, and my mom completely went along with me. There was a big scandal in the family because when I was about 11, she took me to Saks Fifth Avenue in the nice part of town, the fancy mall, and bought me a three-piece Pierre Cardin suit. I wore that thing everywhere, into the grocery store, walking around. I looked like a ventriloquist dummy, I think, walking around. So I always loved doing it, and then got in my teens and 20s and sort of dropped out of it a bit, even in my 30s. And then right after we did Freaks and Geeks, just wear kind of jeans and an overshirt and all that, and started having these meetings with executives at studios, and always hated the feeling of being the identifiable creative type in the room, because they always sit you on a couch that was lower than everybody else, and you're in your jeans and a t-shirt and kind of sitting there, and they're dictating things, and they're all in suits and ties and dressed up, and you're taking notes. And I didn't like the power dynamic of it. It felt very weird to me. So I remember thinking, well, maybe I'll go back to my suits. I actually like to tip the scale, so at least I'm sort of on a level playing field with them. Well, unbeknownst to me, it literally, I think within a month of me deciding to do that, the whole industry flipped and everyone went casual. Suddenly everyone was in jeans and t-shirts, and it became this thing of I'd walk in and they're like, oh, you're all dressed up. And it became almost like, oh, you rube, sort of like, here's this guy from Podunk who thinks he's got to wear his Sunday go to meeting clothes to meetings. But I liked the feeling of being in them, and it just kind of felt like, I was in my mid approaching late 30s at that point, and thought, at some point I got to start dressing like an adult. The other thing was, I just love photos of old Hollywood, where you'd see, Hitchcock and old Stanley Kubrick and Howard Hawks and all these, everybody walking around. I see those shots from the set, and literally even the grips and the lighting guys are all wearing, a tie and kind of have their sleeves rolled up and a hat on and slack, or dress pants or whatever. And I like the idea of that. And I think the capper for me was when I first, back in film school, saw 8.5. Like Marcello Mastroianni, that was, to me, was like, that's what a director should look like. I just love that. He looks confident, he looks cool, looks like he's in charge, even though it's a movie about a guy falling apart, a director falling apart. It looked great to me. But I also discovered that the crew and the cast really like it, because they like the idea of okay, if you're the captain, you're in charge, you should actually dress like that. And it's also a sign of respect for me to both the crew and especially to my cast, of you've put your trust in me, and I'm working with you, so I want to not show up in sweatpants and a baseball cap and unshaven. And
Do you think it helps you convince yourself that you're a responsible enough party to be in charge of a $20 or $30 million operation?
I think that's a big part of it. I mean, honestly, that's a very interesting point, because it's overwhelming. Obviously I know the stakes involved, but if you just thought about there's $32 million sitting on this thing every day, you'd lose your mind. But somehow getting ready this way and being dressed up and trying to look good makes you go, at least I feel like when I watch the president, I go, okay, the president looks like he's in charge. He's wearing a suit and tie. If you have the wherewithal to tie a tie, I feel like your mental capacity is maybe okay that day. And if it's all screwed up, then forget it. Run for the hills.
The only tie knot you'll ever need to know is the 4-in-hand. Around, up, over, and through. Now you're ready to work.
one of my favorite photographs of Tom Wolfe. He's hard at work researching The Right Stuff, I believe, which is a great film. I've never actually seen it, but there he is sporting a dark corduroy blazer with a white pant. He looks amazing and professional and kind of maintains all the character that makes him unique. He also has a notebook, which just makes it, even sexier. If you want a sport coat like the one Mr. Wolfe is wearing, try J. Crew. They have a Ludlow corduroy sport coat for $138 in the color carob. You can get button-downs almost anywhere, but I like the button-downs at Uniqlo. They're about $30 a piece, so they're inexpensive, and they have a wide selection of solid colors. He appears to be wearing a white pointed shoe, which can be a bit dressy, but if you can pull it off, it looks great. And you can get a similar kind at American Apparel. It's the unisex Hartwick skimmer shoe, and it's available online for $97. White pants like these are kind of hard to find towards the end of the summer, but I found some at opening ceremony. They're from my new favorite, relatively new designer called Henchman, and they run about $200. They're called Joe Pants, for Joe. Finish off the Tom Wolfe look with a nice wide chambray tie, and don't forget to not wear a belt.
Question for you. In an interview, should I be trying to dress as conservatively as possible, or should I try to add some flair to stand out from the crowd?
It's a good question. I think when you're dressing for a job interview, you're not so much dressing to be the best dressed guy in the room. You're dressing to project competence. What does that mean? That means a dark suit, charcoal gray, navy blue, maybe a pinstripe for business, a dark tie, a white shirt, a well-fitting set of clothes, but not a loud set of clothes. Avoid ostentatious accessories like a bow tie or even generally a pocket square. If you're interviewing to, say, be an ad creative, it's not the time to wear your funniest t-shirt. It's probably the day to wear your simplest. Remember, when you're interviewing for a job, you don't want the focus to be on your clothes. You want it to be on you and your qualifications.
Your coat's bottom button should never be buttoned. Unless you're some kind of country bumpkin.
Here's the greatest reason. Okay, here's the New Yorker's greatest reason to wear a suit. Because you can go into any nice hotel and go to the bathroom, and you won't get chased out. If you walk into like jeans and a t-shirt, they're like, "Sir, I'm sorry, you can't come in." But I always have like suit and tie. I always walk in like kind of looking like, "Oh God, okay, I got 5 minutes to get that meeting." Or, "Oh, I got to get upstairs." And they're like, "Oh, hello, sir. Hello, how are you doing?" Right in the bathroom, and like, "Oh, I forgot I'm gonna be right back." And so, if nothing else, it's the perfect scam for taking a shit in a nice place.
You can find more good tips on our blog at putthison.com. And if you see something there you'd like to read, but you don't have time, you need Instapaper, possibly the best app in the world. Here's how it works. Just click the Read Later bookmarklet to save the article for later. The next time you launch Instapaper on your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch, the article will be saved for reading whenever and wherever you choose, even offline. Instapaper. Read when you want.